It's cold, and I just got off the train after my last day at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. And listen, I'm not a Davos hater. I know there are a lot of people out there who want to rein in the billionaires, and I'm in that group. Listen, I'm not opposed to doing that at all. But at the same time, I'm not opposed to any meeting that brings people together to talk about solutions to some of the world's biggest challenges. And the World Economic Forum meeting in Davos is certainly one of those meetings. So I was glad I was there. But here's the thing. I mean, one thing that people didn't really talk about that much at Davos this year was climate change, which is really disappointing. Not even much talk about ESG, environmental, social, and governance issues, which was disappointing. But what did people talk about? I mean, what did everybody talk about? What did the dogs and cats in Davos talk about? Everyone was talking about AI. And listen, everyone was talking about AI as a way to help people make better choices, but a lot of folks were talking about AI as a tool for actually making choices. Not just a tool that helps us as human beings make better decisions, but a tool that will actually make decisions for us. And that is actually more scary to me as a psychologist than a lot of the doomsday scenarios about AI. And the reason it's scary for me is because we've already become pretty lazy as people when it comes to thinking critically. So if you want to think critically and you're thinking AI will help you, let me suggest that you do something different. Think about critical thinking as sort of 4 things that you got to do. One of them is to actually be willing to search for information and use it, information that disconfirms an opinion that you go into a decision with as your starting point. So find information that intentionally contradicts what you're initially thinking to test where you're at in terms of any assumptions you're making or any approaches you're taking to making those choices. Number 2, be willing to consider more than one alternative at a time. You really got to think about options as a bundle of things to consider and not just one thing that you either take or leave. I've long said that any decision with only one alternative isn't really a decision at all. It's an ultimatum, and no one wants an ultimatum. Number 3, be willing to postpone closure. Everyone loves to make decisions so that they can move on to the next thing that they need to worry about. But the thing is, the more information you gather, the more time that you give yourself to think, the more you really need to put off closure on those decisions that are in front of you. So have the discipline to put off that closure. And then last but not least, certainly not least, critical thinking means being willing to change your mind. A decision is something that's organic, it's living, it's something that's going to evolve over time. So ignore all that business about flip-flopping and think about decision making as an evolutionary thing, something that you're going to be revisiting time and time and time again. And the way you revisit those decisions is by gathering more information, considering more alternatives, and ultimately changing your mind. And that brings us back to where we started, climate change. I think we'd be in a whole lot better place on climate change if we just thought more critically about the challenges and opportunities in front of us by addressing those 4 steps of critical thinking that I just mentioned. So with that, we'll shut it down. Thanks for listening. And the next time I see you, hopefully it'll be in a slightly warmer place. In fact, a much warmer place as I'm heading back to Southern California soon. So with that, good night from Switzerland. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.